Hey guys, Nick Peterson here, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about why systematizing, what people call systematizing their business. You see it all over. It doesn't actually work, especially if you are a visionary, especially if you're a great marketer, great salesperson, or you have diverse interests, right? And let me explain what I mean by that. What's happening is when people, after the marketing and sales component, right? There's all this talk about marketing, and there's all this talk about sales, and there's talk about burnout. And what happens is everybody swoops in and says, hey, I have the solution to burnout, systematize everything. And I don't even think they know what that means. But here's the thing. I have a systems guy. My partner, Dan, my COO, and my business partner is brilliant. And he's got that personality that can just go in and build everything, right? And so the way people systematize works for people like him, it doesn't work for people like me. It doesn't work for most business owners, most entrepreneurs. And here is the biggest reason why. When people teach you to systematize or learn, okay, those are the two things we want our organization to do, is to be systematized, and we want it to continue to learn, right? We want to build a knowledge base. Here's the thing, it'll take years, if not decades, to fully systematize a legitimate business, and it'll take years, if not decades, to learn the things you need to learn in life, right? So the problem with this waterfall approach, okay, most people teaching systems have this waterfall approach where they come in and they start at the top and they just start either building or tasking out the building of everything, right? Operating procedures for this, build this onboarding procedure, build this employee handbook, build this training for new employees, build this impact position thing, like figure out all the positions that you're going to have in your company, yada, yada, yada. Okay, here's the problem. If you're expending resources on building an employee onboarding handbook, but you are not going to hire an employee for 6 months, it's not the appropriate sequence, right? And so what we need here is we need this driver. Okay, we have this driver right here that we call the velocity method. Okay, so we want to systematize. We're always building the systems and operations so that nothing gets done twice. And it's always improving, right? And we also want to build a system that we're always learning. The problem is if we just go to the library, start with book 1, right, and just try to sequentially read everything, we're not learning in the highest leverage way, right? It makes the most sense in both scenarios here to learn only the thing that's going to get you to take the next step in your endeavor, whatever that may be, and to systematize only the thing that is your limiting factor right now. Okay, so if your limiting factor is sales, right, you're not getting enough sales calls, you're not closing enough, then systematizing an employee handbook or, writing out position impact profiles for positions that don't exist yet, not the best use of your time. And it's also taking away from the limiting factor. Okay, so what we always say is if you want to go fast, you want to get to where you're going quickly, you got to take your foot off the brake. And what this does right here, this driver, is we identify the brake. We get the entire organization. If you're a bigger organization like us, we have our marketing department focused on that limiting factor in marketing, our operations focused on that limiting factor in operations, and our finances focusing on that thing in finances, right? So what happens is we identify the limiting factor. Maybe it's our close percentage in marketing, and we don't have the capacity to take on 10 more clients, which is what we want to do, right? And so then we identify, well, what do we have to do to take on 10 more clients? The entire operational team is working on removing that limiting factor, right? And then they're systematizing and building the operations around only the tasks that are removing that limiting factor. Okay, and what happens eventually, like in marketing and sales, we might say, well, how do we improve the close percentage? And we do the thing, and then we build the systems and operations so we never have to do it again. That component is systematized, okay? And then we address the next thing. What happens is it's kind of like marketing versus like branding versus direct response, right? Like nobody wants to wait for the branding to yield a return. But if you could brand and make money with direct response at the same time, it's a win-win. That's what we're doing here. We're systematizing as we're moving the business forward. We're not halting the whole freaking business to systematize everything. It's kind of like swimming upstream, right? And then trying to grow again. And so all this is we identify we want to go this direction and we remove the limiting factors. So boom, this is the limit to our growth right now. We attack it, we build the systems and operations around it, and we've learned how to handle that one thing, and we never have to do it again because we do have the system component, right? Then we address the next limiting factor, the next limiting factor. Eventually, your employee handbook will be the limiting factor, and it will get systematized, right? So we're not neglecting anything. We're building the right thing at the right time to grow the business at the optimal rate. Not always the maximal rate, but the optimal rate. And this is why when people start building systems, right? They start building systems, they fail. Because if you just systematize, if you just pull out the list of everything that happens in your business and you start, alphabetically or whatever, there's a lot of pain and tedium and the return is not immediate, right? With this method, with the velocity method, the return is immediate and it's exponential. And you're getting your systems built, you're just building them in the order that is necessary for your business right now. Hopefully that makes sense. It's just like sitting down and trying to learn everything is not high leverage. Okay, but sitting down and learning only the thing that you're having a problem with right now moves you forward. And then you run into another thing and you learn about that thing and then you move, right? So you end up same end result as far as knowledge base and systems, but you've actually moved way further in the process of building. Okay, it's kind of like making money while building a brand. Best of both worlds. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know, drop a comment, shoot me a message and give me your feedback.